Alright guys, welcome back to another video. We got some pretty big things going on with the San Francisco situation because so many businesses are leaving. And if you check this out, in fact, a lot of the big tech was leaving even back in 2022. It's not a recent thing. It's not a 2023 thing. It's like a thing that happened right after the pandemic because first of all, a lot of cities actually recovered pretty well. Okay, Austin, for example, they got Tesla. They got a big tech scene. Las Vegas was kind of known for like that place where it's a great post-pandemic town. And it still is. I mean, Nevada, it's still gaining a lot of people. In fact, Las Vegas recently got skills and they opened like a 50,000 square feet office. And Miami used to just be hospitality beaches. Now it's dubbed Wall Street of the South, and it has an enormous tech scene over there. But if you look at this, tech firms that vacant the most populated San Francisco office towers. Now, Block, which is the parent of Square, they pretty much vacated almost 500,000 square feet of space. Meta also vacated like 435,000. Salesforce, they made their own building. They have the tallest skyscraper in San Francisco, the Salesforce Tower, and it's over 50% vacant right now. Snapchat is also leaving a lot. And Lyft is also leaving. Uber is trying to sublease its 250,000 square feet office as well. And these are just the big boys that make it on a list. And there's several tens of thousands of other startups who have 2,000 to 3,000 square feet of space. And those guys have fully moved online. It used to be San Francisco like this really awesome place where if you want to do anything tech related, you have to move to San Francisco simply because of the immense talent. And you all know that if a city just simply has a bunch of tech workers, a bunch of startups, it's actually a fantastic environment for a person to grow. But now with San Francisco's big tech giants and startups leaving, if you move to San Francisco and start doing tech, you might actually be stupid because it's getting emptier by the day. Much rather move to Las Vegas, places like Austin, places like Miami, where there's actually a growing tech scene and an inflow of talented individuals. San Francisco is having the biggest brain drain in possibly the world. People say things like, oh, there's a big brain drain from London, there's a big brain drain from Hong Kong, but I guarantee you San Francisco's brain drain is even crazier. The amount of talented startup CEOs and rich billionaires and multimillionaires are leaving the city in droves. And San Francisco is the fastest declining populated city in all the US. And given that it's tech, and tech is actually a massive growing field, it's odd that the city is dropping so fast. So I wonder what's going on. It's definitely going to be the drugs, the crime, the open air drug markets, the police not really doing anything, the city not really doing anything. And of course, with this much neglect, right? San Francisco's downtown is struggling. Tourism rebound is hurting. And we already seen several videos of tourist cars being broken in broad daylight. There was even a video of a Prius being broken in while it's driving. Like, how does that even happen? Like, San Francisco is pretty much the wild, wild west here. And we already have a lot of people come here, to steal several $100,000 of things, groups of people, and nothing really happens, right? Like, the police doesn't really catch anyone. They don't really care anymore. So, most rich people are leaving San Francisco. And by the way, those office vacancies I told you about are all the ones where they pretty much ended their lease. They say that vacancies are 30 to 33%, but it's more like 50% to 60% because a lot of the offices are still leased out, but the companies have moved out. So they're like zombie buildings, like zombie vacancies. So once those leases end, as time goes on, next quarter, probably 40% vacancies. I wouldn't even be surprised. A lot of people are scrambling out, okay? Guys, there's literally a bunch of homeless people. There's people shooting up drugs and smoking crack on tourist traps. Okay, it's no longer just restricted to the Tenderloin district. It's now really spread out to other sectors of San Francisco. And it's getting worse, right? It's getting worse by the day. There's drugs everywhere. There's literally feces on the floor, urine everywhere. And like I said before, San Francisco has a fantastic location. There's water on the top, left and right. You go down, you get Stanford and Silicon Valley. You go up, you get Wine County, Napa Valley. I mean, location is literally probably the best in all of the US, in my opinion. Great culture, too. But here's the thing. With so many homeless individuals in the city not doing jack, of course tourism is hurting. In fact, say tourism is down 16%, but don't believe that. It's more like down 50% because of the amount of small businesses recently closing down. And a lot of these businesses are saying that the regular worker foot traffic from Monday to Friday is already super low. And then you also have no tourism. Okay, look, I showed you several videos on this channel about the streets of San Francisco in broad daylight, and it's completely empty. And a lot of times you have a lot of people who are mentally ill, homeless people, people on drugs. Of course, the city doesn't care. Also, the city is going broke because of the amount of businesses and big tech leaving. And they should honestly, I guess, take a page from San Diego. San Diego's not even that great of like an example, but at least they banned homeless encampments in downtown areas and restricted it in certain areas of the city. It's still pretty garbage, but at least they're trying to save their tourism industry, and there are. Apparently, San Diego's tourism is still pretty high compared to San Francisco's massive declining, tourism industry. So San Diego, still pretty bad, but at least they're doing something. Okay, they know having a bunch of tents in the downtown area will easily affect the tourism. But San Francisco, surprisingly, they're not doing anything. It really amazes me, right? A lot of international tourists who come to San Francisco, they'll say the same thing. It's pretty crazy to see people doing drugs straight up on the street and people robbing stores and cars and nobody cares. I mean, that's what I've been hearing from a lot of international tourists because they go to like the UAE, they go to Qatar, they go to Singapore, they go to Japan, they go to Australia. They don't see this kind of stuff. Like you won't encounter this kind of stuff. Only in California. I have no clue how these guys are running this. Like I said before, I like the city. I've been here before the pandemic. It was actually very nice despite the problems, but now it's so bad. There's no longer a tech scene. And I really hope they change things up because even food halls are leaving, guys. Okay? Every single day we get iconic San Francisco stores with some over 100 years of opening in San Francisco closing down. All right? And look at this. The Gucci store is now being robbed. And I guarantee you there's going to be no arrest, okay? I have a feeling that the police want to do something, but they can't really do anything, right? And also there's a massive staff shortage. Apparently if you call 911 in Oakland, you're on hold. So San Francisco is declining, okay? I don't really see a future in the city anymore. I think that's the same thing a lot of big companies are thinking, right? Whole Foods, Nordstrom, the big giants, like these anchor stores for a city, when they leave for good. If a lot of these stores think a city will recover the next 2 years, they usually stay and are willing to burn the cash flow because coming back and opening up is very expensive and very difficult. But they see no future. And a lot of these anchor stores started leaving the beginning of 2023 when they saw no hope and no change in the politics, and they're leaving quietly, right? And luxury stores are now also considering leaving because they're not making a profit either. I mean, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, a lot of these high-end designer stores, there's a lot of theft. So a lot of these guys are really just thinking, let's just move out. Okay, let's just go to other places. In San Francisco, you do not see an increase of luxury store openings. Luxury store opening increases are happening in places like Miami, Austin, the Midwestern cities, and even in Chicago, we're actually seeing a lot of stores opening up. It's actually pretty crazy. You got to do so bad to have these companies leave. A lot of these companies are very tolerable with bad street conditions, but when it gets San Francisco bad, they really leave and they're not coming back. And I wouldn't be surprised in the next few months Gucci leaves as well, and Louis Vuitton and stuff like that. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you later.